apparently in this story, the woman went to go put the 1-year-old child down for a nap in a crib, and instead put the baby in the oven, and the baby died. Now, I don't know whether she did it on purpose. I was not there. I believe she needs to be held accountable and let the courts and all this stuff deal with that. I just want to talk about the psychology of psychosis, because there is a point of view where she was so detached from reality, she thought the oven was the crib, or she thought putting the child in the oven would be a good thing. Welcome back to the Therapist React series. If this is your first time here, this is the series where I cover things going on in the news to help us learn more about our psychological strengths and weaknesses so that we can have better mental health. And today I want to talk about a story about a woman named Mariah Thomas. Mariah Thomas is a mother of a 1-year-old child, and this is a sad story. This is a story with some gruesome details, but I thought it was important to discuss, and I'm going to go into why. But she ended the life of her 1-year-old daughter. Now, there's some debate of whether we should call it murder or what we should call it. We're going to get into that here. And some believe that she did it on purpose, and others believe she struggled with something called postpartum psychosis. And I want to talk to you a little bit about postpartum psychosis, what it is, what the warning signs are, what you should do if you yourself or you think you know someone who is struggling with what might be postpartum psychosis. But first of all, let's break down psychosis. And psychosis is really a separation between reality and what you are perceiving as reality, right? So somebody with psychosis might think the chair is trying to cause them harm. They might think the lights are actually a laser beam coming from aliens trying to so psychosis is a disruption between reality and what you are perceiving. And it can be really scary because you can experience things that are telling you to do things that could cause you or someone you know and love harm, right? So if I struggle with psychosis and I genuinely believe that the mailman was sent by aliens to kill me, I may defend myself against the mailman. Even though that is not true or real, I perceive it as true and real, and we behave as if it is true and real. So a lot of times people can do really, really harmful things because in their mind, they're protecting themselves, they're preventing something bad. In their mind, the behavior makes complete and total logical sense. So that's psychosis. So what is postpartum psychosis? Postpartum psychosis is psychosis brought upon after you've had a child. And we're very familiar with postpartum depression. People talk about that a lot. But postpartum psychosis is psychosis brought about by the recent birth of a child. Now, there is some debate on how this happens. Whether it is something biological, some chemical thing that happens once the woman has birth of a child, or even if it's a sleep disruption. Now, I will tell you this. It is very, very common that psychosis and a sleep disruption go hand in hand. So when you have a new child, you get a massive sleep disruption, and that can cause psychosis. And by the way, a lot of us have experienced this. I remember, and I'll tell you a quick story. I remember when I was a child, I slept over a friend's house. I was staying over for the weekend, and I was probably 12 or so at the time, and we decided to have a contest to see who could go the longest without sleeping. So we stayed up the whole night. We played video games, and we were talking. It was me and my friend and his siblings, and we stayed up the entire night. We stayed up the whole next day. We played video games and did whatever we had to do to stay awake. When we tried to stay awake the second night, every single one of us experienced symptoms of psychosis. I will never forget looking at the wall and believing the wall was moving. I remember one of the guys in the house, and again, we're all around 12 years old, 10, 12, 13 years old. He would look at the floor and he would see ants, and the ants were trying to like climb on him. Those things were very, very real. We couldn't stay up the second night, fell asleep, and woke up the next day, and everything was fine. I'm a practicing psychotherapist, and it is shocking how many times people come into therapy and they're having a mental health issue when literally consistent and restful sleep makes a massive difference in the client's life and the symptoms that they're experiencing. Sleep is an incredibly important part of a person's mental health. And when you have a new child, sleep is one of the things that gets sacrificed. So it's not that long of a leap to think of the connection between a sleep disruption and psychosis. Now, apparently in this story, the woman went to go put the 1-year-old child down for a nap in a crib, and instead put the baby in the oven, and the baby died. Now, I don't know whether she did it on purpose. I was not there. I believe she needs to be held accountable and, let the courts and all this stuff deal with that. I just want to talk about the psychology of psychosis, because there is a point of view where she was so detached from reality, she thought the oven was the crib, or she thought putting the child in the oven would be a good thing. That's why we have to be aware of psychosis, and we have to be aware of postpartum issues, and we have to be aware of what people go through, because that child is not going to be safe around someone who has lost touch with reality. And a consistent amount of time with no sleep, bad nourishment, maybe some biological things and hormonal things going on, makes the children unsafe. And we have to be aware of these things. So how do you know when this is happening? Is when people start saying things that sound to you like they may not be real. They start talking about having seen something that is not there, hearing things that are not there, hearing people that have passed away. All of these things are signs that psychosis is beginning to happen, and you need to be able to address them. If you find yourself thinking these things, or you find yourself having these thoughts, usually the person having them will be the last person to know, because to them it feels real. But if you feel a little bit off, not like yourself, and you know that you're in a place where you're having a sleep disruption, and you know that you've just had a baby, go and see a mental health professional just to get checked, just to make sure. You're probably not going to know the severity of the issue, but you will know that you just don't feel quite like yourself, and there are factors going on in your life, like a new job maybe that is throwing off your sleep. Maybe there's a stress factor going on in your life, or maybe you've had a baby recently and you should go and have yourself looked at. If you know someone that is experiencing these things, be a support to them and encourage them to go get help. If you yourself have just had a baby, like, put a support system around you so you'll listen to those people when they point out you're not really acting like yourself. You're not sounding like yourself. Go get checked out. The biggest and most important thing is go get yourself in front of a mental health professional so that they can help you sort out whatever the situations are and whatever the things are that are causing these issues, and make sure everyone around you, including yourself, is safe. It is not uncommon that people with psychosis harm themselves because they do something that normally would have been a risk. But like, they'll be on the 3rd floor of a building and think that it is safe to climb out of a window because in their reality it is, but in the actual reality it is not. So it is so important that you get these people and get yourself in front of a mental health professional so you can deal with the things going on. When I think about the position the law should take, it's a real complicated thing, because I do think we have to take people's mental health into account as we apply laws, but I also think people should be held accountable for their actions. In this case, a life was lost, and I don't know what to do about that. We don't know if this was done maliciously or if it was done intentionally, or if it was done as a consequence of a mental health disruption. But many states have laws in place where they do make the distinction between intention, malicious, intention, or something done as a consequence of a mental health issue. And I think those things should be examined. And a good mental health professional will be able to assess these things and help the court make the determination on which it was and those sorts of things. So I think this is a very important case to watch. My heart goes out to the family, to the child that was lost, and even to the mother, assuming that she was struggling with psychosis brought about by postpartum issues. And I hope the courts make the distinctions and treat the situation appropriately given the mental health issues that were at play here. I think what I would suggest new parents do, because there is such a hormonal impact on a female body from getting pregnant and then having the child, and because there's such a systemic impact on the family and everything going around the new mother, I would suggest all new mothers surround themselves with a loving support so people can just pay attention to how you are handling the pregnancy and the situation. And then those are the people that will make suggestions to you. Those are the people that will point things out to you. Those are the people that will support you when and if things go wrong or if things become difficult. And those are the people that you are inherently going to listen to. I think we always need to have somebody around us that we know and that we trust, that we believe in, that we know have the best intentions for us. We got to have those people around us. And a pregnancy is a very, very important thing. And a lot of people don't know how they're going to handle it. So it's massively important that you surround yourself with people you love, people you trust, people you believe in, and the people that you know have your best intentions in mind. So I hope all new moms will surround themselves with love and support and make sure that, having a new child is stressful, but make sure that it never becomes unsafe as it did in this story. This is a sad story, and I hope this video helps less of these stories ever happen again. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment on this video. I'd love to hear what you thought of this story or this video. Please like this channel, like my page, and hit the bell so you get notified each and every time we release a new video on this page and on this channel. Please share this video so we can reach as many new moms as possible. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.